Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football, continuing with our freshman spotlight series as we take a look back at that 2023 class and talk about some dudes that are going to be having year one impacts. And we're going back to the USC Trojans. We've already talked Deuce Robinson, Zachariah Branch, Tackett Curtis. Now we're talking four-star running back Quinten Joyner from the state of Texas. And this is a guy that I know this running back room is loaded for USC. You won't find anybody higher across the country about Marshawn Lloyd than I am transferring from South Carolina. But Quinten Joyner is going to be a guy that is really, really hard to keep off the field year one. You take a look at what he was able to do as a senior in high school. You take a look at what he was able to do during the spring practices. You watch the spring game. This dude is legit a polished running back as a true freshman. Now, before we get into it, just want to say thank you to the USC fans. It's been so fun talking USC recruiting in this 2024 class, the transfer portal, how high we are on this USC program heading into the 2023 season, the support you guys have shown, all the fight-ons in the comment section. Appreciate you guys rocking with the boys like you do. So if you do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. We got a couple more USC guys on the docket to talk about in this 2023 class as well. So stay tuned for that. But again, appreciate you guys rocking with the boys. Let's get into Quinten Joyner. And before we get into the film and dive into what he can do on the field, I want to talk about the athletic profile here. 5'11", 205 pounds. I believe he's up to around 210 pounds or after early enrolling with USC this winter. He's a guy that you would assume is kind of a bruiser, right? Thick lower half, can take on contact, and he certainly can do that. You look at the athletic profile, a sub 11 second 100-meter dash time, a 10.9 100-meter dash time. This is a guy that when it comes to hitting that big play as well, can absolutely put on the burners. And it's so impressive to see how polished he is as a running back and how well he can blend taking on contact, being kind of a bruising running back, but also being able to hit that explosive play. It's a rare blend that Quinten Joyner certainly has. Now, I want to get into the film. First three games as a senior in high school, averaged 12.1 yards per carry. Like, this guy was barely tackled as a senior in high school. And you take a look at what he brings to the table. The first thing that you're going to point out is just he's a one cut back. Like, you're going to see him just one cut in the ground. I'm going to get upfield and I'm going to hit that big play. That's rare as a running back. You see a lot of those top running backs kind of rely on east and west movement. Now, hey, he's also a goal line guy too. Don't get it wrong. Like, he has the burners. He has the 10.9 track speed. He's a guy that can get the short yardage too. And when you're talking about moving to the Big Ten, that is a kind of running back that you will certainly want to need in terms of the physicality, picking up those tough yards and short yardage situations. Quinten Joyner is a guy that I think is going to translate early. The reason why I'm talking about him being an impact freshman is not only you saw him at the spring game do it at the college football level, but a guy that his game is going to translate because he doesn't rely on running east and west on this film. He's a guy that he's a one-cut dude. He wants to get north and south, and that stuff translates. When you see a lot of running backs rely on just running around guys, being the better athlete, sometimes they have trouble kind of being guys that are going to be fitting into the college football landscape year one because they need to break those habits. Quinten Joyner, not that guy. You see his ability to work through traffic, get to the second level, make people miss, and when it's time to put on the burners, he certainly has that too. I could watch Quinten Joyner highlights all day because he's just such a smooth running back and such a polished running back in terms of reading blocks, in terms of working through contact. Again, one cut, going to make a couple people miss in the hole. And then again, when it's time to hit the jets, he certainly can do that too. It's so rare to see guys with the contact balance and the bruising running that he has while also being able to operate in the open space at the level Quinten Joyner does. You're going to see him working, coming in motion, I believe, here, taking a little end around. He can do it in so many different ways. You get him out on the perimeter, running through contact. Again, thick lower half, can take on contact extremely well. And I'm going to hit the burners as well. Let's get into this running back room, though, because that's where you talk about year one freshmen. A lot of times it has to do with the depth chart in front of you. Are you going to have ample time to get some playing time? And quite frankly, this USC running back room is absolutely loaded. I think Austin Jones did a phenomenal job last year. The stigma around USC is they're not a physical team. They can't run the football. The offense just goes through Caleb Williams. They're playing 7-on-7. This is a team that was one of the best teams in the country in yards per carry last year. It was a very efficient rushing attack. Travis Dye did it really well. When he went down, Austin Jones was phenomenal. And then you bring in Marshawn Lloyd, who, if you asked me who leads the team in rushing yards and rushing attempts, I think Marshawn Lloyd will be that dude. I think a lot of USC fans know how high I am on him. You watch the South Carolina film, that offensive line in front of him, quite frankly, stunk. And whenever he was being productive, it was because how good he was. I can't wait to see a guy like Marshawn Lloyd have a good offensive line in front of him, have some space to operate, because I think he truly can be one of the better backs in the country. And then getting to a guy in Quinten Joyner, who I think he'll be running back 3, but I think he'll get a lot of carries, especially in those short yardage. Because if you taking a look at this USC running back room, and I know you have Peterson too as a true freshman, I I love how Quinten Joyner can work and operate in short yardage situations, but also be a complete back. I don't think pass protection will be much of an issue for him because of how physical and how strong he is. The bottom line, USC and the playmakers on this offense at the wide receiver position, at the running back position that surrounds Caleb Williams, it's loaded. And if there's a guy I trust more to get guys the football in places that they can succeed in, it's Lincoln Riley. I think he's going to do a great job. And Quinten Joyner at the end of the day is going to be a dude that's going to be really hard to keep off the field in certain situations. So you have Austin Jones, you have Marshawn Lloyd, and then you have true freshman Quinten Joyner, who, even if he isn't that productive as a year one dude because of how loaded this running back room is, man, I can't wait to see him running in the Big Ten next year, because he is going to be an absolute guy that USC can use in a multitude of different ways. Quinten Joyner, get to know the name, because I think he's not only going to make a year one impact, but I think he's going to be a running back that is truly going to be special for the Trojans throughout his career. Was excited about him when he came out of high school. Then you check the spring game, you read the spring notes. This dude has the goods. Get to know the name again. Appreciate you guys rocking with the boys like you do. And if you do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Appreciate y'all. And we'll talk to you guys later.